Well, Alex, what we know is based on what the survivors have been telling rescuers so far. They said that when the migrants saw a cargo ship that answered their distress call appeared in the distance, they rushed to one side of the vessel, causing it to capsize. Well, they claim there were as many as 700 people on board that boat. If that's true, that will make this the single deadliest incident involving migrants in the Mediterranean on record. Why did the second pilot lock himself in, or even if the door automatically closed, as it does happen, why did he not respond? Why did he not open it? Was he unconscious? Was he conscious? Did he do it deliberately? These are a whole bunch of questions that the aviation authorities here will have to answer if this report is confirmed tomorrow morning.
Investigators said they did not find a suicide note or a claim of responsibility. They do not believe that there are any political or religious motives, so it all seems to point to that direction, to that particular illness. We don't know the nature of it, but we hope to learn more about it in the next few days.
Well, that's a good morning, where some of the passengers said that it felt like being on the Titanic, and when you see the dynamic of this accident, you'll understand why. Well, in the last few hours, the captain of the ship was arrested on allegations of manslaughter and of abandoning the ship before his passengers. Oh, I can see smoke.
Claudio, let me interrupt you. We see smoke. We hear cheers.
I can't quite figure it out. It looks white.
It looks white.
It looks white. It is a huge cheer here. There's a roar of enthusiasm. It's white smoke.
Let's listen into the roar, Claudio. Listen to the crowd.
It is indeed white smoke. Well, there's tens of thousands of people here in St. Peter's Square, a wave of umbrellas, and this is what they were waiting for.
Yes.
White smoke, finally, we have a Pope. Pope Francis has been breaking with tradition since his election. He dropped the regalia and wears a white simple cassock and an iron cross. He refused to move in the papal apartment and sleeps in a Vatican guest house instead. He defies security to be among his flock. He makes cold calls to the faithful and allows the youth to take selfies with him. He managed to re-energize the whole of the Catholic Church. No wonder he made the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. He is a Catholic rock star. So this Copacabana has now turned into some kind of Catholic Woodstock. Well, now, you said it. This is where the Pope is going to spend most of his time during his stay in Brazil. The only person who's missing here is the actual guest of honor, the Pope. But we'll see him in about 4 hours. Well, the trip became political from the start. He hasn't even left Rome. And he said, for instance, tomorrow he's going to visit the state of Palestine, something, of course, that has enraged the Israelis and so forth. So
Italy's highest criminal court has quashed the acquittals of Amanda Knox and her former Italian boyfriend, Raffaele Sollecito.
I mean, nobody was expecting the judge today to overturn that acquittal, but now that the trial will restart in the city of Florence, we don't expect Amanda Knox to show up in that courtroom, if in Italy at all.
Well, Silvio Berlusconi is no stranger to the Italian courts, but the controversial former Prime Minister has never before been sentenced to jail until today.
Really, Berlusconi, in a way, has always been the Marmite of Italy. Either you love him or you hate him.
With us, thank you very much indeed, Claudio Lavanga. Looks like the Marmite has its lid on.
This is known as the world's most haunted island, but can it also become the world's most haunted property? Well, the island of Poveglia is just off Venice, and it's among a number of properties being auctioned off by the Italian government to raise funds to cut the public debt. The island's history reads like a horror story. This is what's left of a hospital for the mentally ill built on the island at the beginning of the 20th century. It is said to have been run by a sadistic doctor who used to perform unauthorized lobotomies on his patients before he plunged to his death from the island's bell tower. The leader of Hezbollah appeared on television on Sunday evening saying that the film is an unprecedented insult to Islam. The ancient city of Pompeii, beautifully preserved for almost 2,000 years, buried under more than 10 feet of volcanic ash. But are neglect and mismanagement more destructive forces than the Vesuvius? On Wednesday, a high tide submerged parts of the city of Venice for the third time this November. And once again, the only way to walk around in St. Mark's Square is either on raised walkways or with rubber boots.
Very much.
The Italian government has long accused the European Union of leaving it alone in a struggle to cope with this major influx of migrants. and has threatened to pull out warships like this one from the search and rescue fleet if it doesn't come to its help. Claudio Lavanga, NBC News, Siracusa.